Stu, welcome to the program. We're glad you're here.
Glenn, a mostly peaceful good morning to you.
A mostly peaceful good morning to you, too. That is great. I feel somewhat insecure now, but it was mostly peaceful, your greeting. Also, I want to say hi to Jason Buttrill, who is up at the ranch this week, and because we've been working on some stuff, including the everything that is going on in Los Angeles, what's coming on Saturday. Just wait. I think we had kind of the closest we'll get to a declaration of war from Gavin Newsom yesterday. I want you to play the Gavin Newsom, what he looked into the camera and had the balls to say yesterday. Listen to this.
He's declared a war on culture, on history, on science, on knowledge itself. Databases, quite literally, are vanishing. He's delegitimizing news organizations, and he's assaulting the First Amendment. And the threat of defunding them.
Stop. Is he talking about George Soros? Is he talking about the professors in our universities? Is he talking about the entire Democratic Party? No, he's just talking about Donald Trump. It is remarkable to me how he says this is an attack on science, on truth, on our history, how he's delegitimizing that. I mean, are you kidding me? But wait, there's more.
At threat, he's dictating what universities themselves can teach. He's targeting...
Stop! Donald Trump is now dictating what universities can teach. Well, yeah, because you got rid of all questioning of everything. I mean, I don't have a problem. You want to teach that there's 800 different, sexuality or whatever, genders.
Yeah.
You want to teach that? Fine. But don't tell me that's all I can teach. Don't tell me that I have to sit there and take it. No. Please, Gavin. But I digress. This isn't even the part I wanted you to hear. Go ahead. More.
The judicial branch that are the foundations of an orderly and civil
going after
society.
The judicial branch.
He's calling for a sitting governor to be arrested for no other reason than to...
Can we stop?
Stop.
I'm sorry. I can't.
We're never going to get to the important part, but go ahead.
It's impossible to let that slide.
Yeah,
they just spent 4 years trying to put the person he's talking about in prison.
Yeah.
And they're just shocked that any political figure would consider putting one of his political opponents in jail. Well, how they're considering arresting me. Yes, the governor of a state, not the guy who's actually currently president of the United States. I mean, it's absolutely, it's as if...
It's bonkers.
Yeah, it's bonkers. It's as if they believe we forget every day the next day. Like we're in a Adam Sandler movie or something. That's not how this works.
Let me just say this to you, to all of the Democrats who are currently scheming and planning all these things and writing these speeches. The American public is not Dory.
Yes.
We're not Dory. We remember what you did yesterday and what you did just a few minutes ago. We remember those things. By the way, he goes on to say, and they want to put me just because I was elected. Okay. All right. Let's move on. What else?
For getting elected. And we all know this Saturday. He's ordering our American heroes, the United States military, and forcing them to put on a vulgar display to celebrate his birthday. Just as other...
What?
Stop! Oh, I can't take it. Okay, so there's a military parade in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump has always loved these military parades. He's never done a military parade. You know why he's doing it this year? Because it's the military of the United States government. It is the 250th birthday. He's not putting it on for his birthday. It just happens to fall on the same day as his birthday. He's putting the military parade on to celebrate the 250th birthday of the military. I mean, how How stupid do you have to be? Well, you have to be dumb enough to live in California to believe this guy. But anyway, I digress. That wasn't even the point either. He's getting to the point. Listen.
Failed dictators have done in the past. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived.
That's it. That's the line I want you to hear. The moment democracy is under attack, the moment we have feared has arrived. So everything that they have been building up, that Donald Trump is a dictator, that Donald Trump is going to take over, that Donald Trump is going to take away everybody's rights, that Donald Trump is going to use the military to put people and have them disappeared in the streets, that he's a failed dictator, all of this stuff. Everything they've been planting, he's just announced, has arrived. Now, if that moment has arrived, what are you supposed to do about it? This is the biggest problem with my job, because I'm telling you, this moment has arrived. So what am I telling you to do? To educate yourself on the Constitution, on civics, know what you're supposed to do, read, double your effort on trying to find the truth. Don't believe everything you see on TV or on the internet, either from the left or the right. Do your own homework. I'm trying to make you independent. Make sure that you are not dependent on any system, that you're dependent on yourself and you're ready to serve others. What are they saying? Well, we know Hamas yesterday came out and said, it's time there is no red line for any Muslim in America. It's time to assassinate all those who like Israel, help Israel, will stand with Israel. Anybody who, kill anybody in the family of Donald Trump, anybody in the family of our vice president, to kill anyone in his cabinet and their family, anyone in Congress and their family, and there is no red line. Well, so we know that. Of course, I haven't heard Gavin Newsom. I mean, they're all in bed with all of these people. I mean, this is an Islamist communist movement. They're in bed with them. Have you heard anybody come out and denounce that? Nope. What are they saying? Get to the streets? Because they may not be saying that to you, but they are saying it behind closed doors. And we're going to show you tonight on TV, my Wednesday night special. Jason and I have been working on this all week to try to get enough of this ready for you, to show you all the connections. This is very well orchestrated. We can show you who is funding it. We can show you where it's coming from, who's running it. It is disappointing to me that we don't have the administration working as loudly as they should be. I know that, I think it was Kash Patel came out and said they are going after the funders, but this is the only message that we should be giving people. Is don't believe any of this. This is not grassroots. This isn't just spontaneous. This has been planned for a very long time. This is part of the color revolution. In case you don't know, the color revolution is something that we have planted as a CIA. We do color revolutions all over the world. We topple governments all over the world. We've done it forever, and it's a very specific plan. It's called color revolution. We know how it's done, and I've been telling you for the last 5 years, that a color revolution is happening to us. And I showed you all of the evidence. I showed you the names of the people. I showed you how they were connected. I showed you USAID. I showed you everything before anybody was talking about it, and showed you that this is a color revolution, and it is coming here to America. Now, thank God, there are many people online now that have just as good information that I have, and they are starting to find it themselves and show it themselves, some of them with personal experience in some of these agencies, and those are the voices that you need to listen to, the ones who are telling you and showing you with facts, not just little speeches, but showing you with facts exactly what's going on. Now, who do you not listen to? Well, you don't listen to people like Nancy Pelosi. Remember, we have Nancy Pelosi on tape, filmed by her own daughter on January 6th, saying, "This is my fault. I should have allowed the National Guard in." They warned us. The president, we know as a fact, called multiple times, many days in advance, and said, look, January 6th is going to be a tough day. I have the National Guard standing by. Just, do you want it? And Nancy Pelosi in her office said no, over and over and over again. So what does she say? When was this? What's the date today? Is today the 11th? Yes, she just said this. She just said this yesterday. Listen to this.
In a bipartisan way, on January 6th, with violence against the Constitution, against the Congress, and against the United States Capitol, we beg the President of the United States to send in the National Guard.
Stop. Not true. In any way, shape, or form, this is not a half-truth. This is a bald-faced lie. Not true in any way, shape, or form. She did not beg on January 6th. Instead, the White House was begging them. They are ready. They're waiting. They can be there. No, no, no. Days before and on January 6th. Go ahead.
He would not do it. Not only would he not do it, when law enforcement people were being harmed, some later died, he would not send it in.
From unrelated injuries.
When an instigation that an insurrection that he incited was causing damage to those assigned to protect the Capitol.
Stop. Why wouldn't they charge? If he incited an insurrection, he clearly cannot be president of the United States. If you had that evidence, why didn't you charge him with that? Because you have no evidence, because that is not true. You have to then present to a court, okay, this is what he said about the National Guard. He was trying to send the National Guard. His people were calling during the insurrection saying, please, do you want the National Guard? And nope. Okay, so that's why you don't charge him with insurrection, because it's not true. But they can say anything. They can say anything. And the media laps it up. Good thing is, media is not that important. By the way, I have an announcement coming up in just a little while, at the top of the second hour, in just a few minutes, on the media and where they are. And gosh darn it, it couldn't have happened to a nicer group of people. But as they are lying to you and feeding you the Gavin Newsom thing, feeding you now yesterday the Nancy Pelosi thing, where she says, and now, just like any dictator, California doesn't need it, and he's sending in the National Guard. It's fascinating how these people just think they can get away. We're not Dory. Again, we're not Dory. I remember, okay? It's not a coincidence. I think it's 225 or 255 times in the Bible the Lord uses the word remember. Okay? Whenever he says something once or twice, you should pay attention to it. When he says it 225 times, remember, it's probably important. That is our biggest problem. We don't remember. That is the biggest thing you can do. You want to stop all this chaos? You want to stop this nonsense? Remember. Remember, it's the 250th anniversary of the military on Saturday. Remember that it also happens to be Donald Trump's birthday. So when they say he's doing it on his birthday, they're not lying, but they are leaving out the truth that it is the 250th birthday. So this is a celebration, a 250th anniversary. What is coming up next year? Our 250th year anniversary. Anybody remember the bicentennial, 1976? It was everywhere. Everything we did for a year was to celebrate the 200th anniversary. This is now the 250th anniversary. And so this is a 250th anniversary parade. You have to be informed with the facts. You have to remember it, and you have to hold people responsible for it. Back in just a second. Stand by. First, let me tell you about the Byrna launcher. I see this happens to me all the time. My wife goes out and she's at night, and I think, is she gonna stop and get gas? Don't stop and get gas. Don't. I worry all the time. But I know that, my wife walking to the car, parking lot, even in the daylight, shopping bag in hand, just a regular day, nothing seems off until a guy she's never seen before steps out from behind a truck. Well, he didn't pull a gun. He didn't have to. His look in his eyes would say enough. But my wife, being my wife, she didn't panic. She just reaches in her purse and she pulls out her Byrna compact launcher. Aims, one shot, peppered projectile, or maybe tear gas. Non-lethal, but it hits him hard. He can't see. He can't breathe. And he runs away like a little girl. Oh, isn't that sad? She's never had to fire a gun before in her life in anger to protect herself, and she didn't need a bullet to stay safe. She had options, the Byrna launcher. Byrna is there for you because being able to protect yourself should never be a thing that's out of your reach. Byrna, BYRNA.com. They are all legal in all 50 states. You don't need any permits. They ship it directly to your house. As long as you're over 18, you have a right to use it and carry it, self-defense. Use their retail store locator to find the nearest location offering live demonstrations, including select Sportsman Warehouse stores and all Byrna retail stores. You can find them at the authorized premium dealers now at Byrna, BYRNA.com, Byrna.com. 10-second station ID. So this is a police chief at this time?
Capitol Police Chief.
A Capitol Police Chief. Fact from the Chief of Police, Capitol. I made 11 urgent calls requesting National Guard support on January 6th, starting at 12:58 p.m. Approval was withheld for 71 minutes by the Sergeant at Arms, who reported directly to Speaker Pelosi. So the Sergeant at Arms couldn't get this urgent message for 71 minutes. She then caused critical delays and is now shifting blame to the real Donald Trump failures she helped create. But good news, the record is clear. That's from the Chief of Police from D.C. Now, what else are they trying to change? Well, yesterday on Capitol Hill, Pete Hegseth was giving testimonies, and Minnesota Representative Benny McCollum tried to give Pete Hegseth a history lesson on riots. And she said, Governor Walz made a decision to call up Minnesota National Guard in 2020. At no point did we need the citizens of Minnesota to request that the Marines be deployed. Our state and local law enforcement, along with our National Guard, who had worked on crowd control, they were more than enough. They were more than capable of handling this situation. History has proven that law enforcement and the National Guard are more than capable of handling situations more volatile than what happened this weekend. So she's saying, that we didn't have to do that in Minnesota. And Pete Hegseth, God bless him, says, well, thank you for that history lesson. You're right. We are both originally from Minnesota, and that's why I recall 2020 quite well when Governor Walz abandoned the police precinct and allowed it to be burned to the ground. He also allowed 5 days of chaos to occur inside the streets of Minneapolis. The police precinct, ma'am, was abandoned and burned to the ground, and because of that, he then had the National Guard far too late mobilized. President Trump recognizes you shouldn't let a city burn for 5 days. That's what's happening. Thank God Pete Hegseth is there. By the way, an alumni of the Blaze.
This is Glenn Beck.
So amazing to think about how many guys came out of the Blaze, how many people that are now serving, have big roles. Pete is one of them. Let me tell you about Rough Greens. Dogs are loyal. They follow you anywhere. But when it comes to their health, most of us aren't, leading them. We're just feeding them whatever comes in a bag. Now, think about that. If you ate nothing but dry cereal every day, how long would you feel healthy? Would you do that to your kids? That's what most dog food is. It's dead. It's shelf stable. It's mass-produced filler. It's missing the real stuff, the vitamins, minerals, probiotics, digestive enzymes, all of the things that keep your dog's body working like it's supposed to. That's where Rough Greens comes in. It's a nutritional supplement you sprinkle right on top of your dog's food, and I'm telling you, dogs love it. I used it for Uno, and I love my dog, Uno. We wanted him to be healthier, and we saw him get healthier. We saw him with more energy, better digestion, fewer health problems. I want you to go to Rough Greens right now. You get their free trial bag at Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Use the promo code Beck. You just pay for shipping. You get that first trial bag for free. Ruffgreens.com, promo code Beck. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens for your dog's health.
If you miss a minute of the show, catch up with the Glenn Beck podcast. It's available wherever you get your podcasts or at glennbeck.com.
Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. We're so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for listening. There is something that is happening on Saturday along with the president's birthday. As I mentioned, it's also, I think it's the Army's 250th birthday. And so they're having a big military parade, you know, because Donald Trump thinks he's Kim Jong-un, or it's the 250th anniversary. And all things 250 years old are going to be celebrated in the next year. But you'll have to decide on that. But Randy Weingarten and others, and when I say others, I mean others. Jason Buttrill is here to go over some of this. They're putting together this No Kings event in Washington, D.C. at the same time as the military parade. The radicals are coming from the left to Washington, D.C., I'm sure I don't have anything planned that would be bad. But they're planning on being in Washington, D.C. during the military because they want to say, we don't have kings here. Really? Because I think the way you just coordinated Kamala Harris was kind of like a king thing, but maybe that's just me. But who's involved in all of this, Jason?
You remember the Tesla takedown event that was going on?
Yeah, where they were burning things and setting cars on fire and protesting all around the world.
Okay, so that's what's kind of fascinating about this, because there was two separate things going on at that time.
Okay.
There were the radicals that were firebombing actual dealerships. But then you had this other part of the Tesla takedown, which was the nonviolent, legitimate portion of it.
Oh, okay.
Now, both were going on at the same time. But the official version had a lot of groups that were, you know, very well known. There were people like Public Citizen. They were helping to coordinate some $13.3 million that they have in their war chest.
Were they buying the legitimate stuff, or were they making Molotov cocktails?
So they were the nonviolent legitimates.
They were the nonviolent legitimates. Yeah. Okay. All right. As if...
but with legitimate people, like, well, I get air quoted legitimate people.
Yeah.
Ralph Nader, Bernie Sanders, people like that. Indivisible Project, $12.5 million and $9.9 million on their Invisible Action.
Where'd they get all that money?
Endorsed by AOC, other legitimate, you know, people.
They're legitimate communists or socialists so far.
Right.
Okay, that's legitimate.
I won't read them all off, but the Stand Up America, Public Citizen, Third Act Initiative. My point on this is, if you go to the partners portion of No Kings, you'll see all the same damn people, all the same groups. They're all doing the same thing now for No Kings. Now, this is pretty much what they do. And Glenn, it's just very, I don't know how to describe it, fascinating, I guess, interesting, how it always coincides with this bottom-up thug movement where they're trashing streets or firebombing or all that.
Wait, are you saying that the top is coming down at the same time the bottom is coming up and turning everything inside out?
It's
weird.
Glenn, what's going on right now is a case study. It's fascinating. They should teach this in universities.
Oh, they are.
yeah. But from the other point of view.
Right, okay.
Right? I mean, yeah, it's we have studied this. What's crazy is the things that you have done in different shows on the radio, how all of this is crystallizing right now. Think, for instance, the special we did on Czechoslovakia.
Yes.
Remember that? And not a shot was fired?
Yes.
If you read through that book on how they flipped Czechoslovakia from a capitalist country to communist, this is how they did it.
Yeah, I know.
It's insane. There would be a legitimate move from the top, then these thugs that would come up from the bottom.
Activated by the top, just disconnected enough to where they could say, I don't have anything to do with that.
And what happens to the people in the middle?
Yeah, they get squeezed.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So this is happening in Washington at the same time the president is celebrating the 250th anniversary of the military, and I decided to launch. I have always on my letterhead and everything else for years and years, probably 30 years. I have had a logo of a skull and crossbones with a crown floating above the head. And it's kind of a personal logo. My ranch logo is kind of a joke on the gate. It's got, a bull's skull with the crossbones underneath and a crown hovering above the head of the skull bones.
So cool.
And it is an old colonial logo. And what it meant was no king but Christ. Okay? So it just meant I am not going to lose my first citizenship in defense of my second citizenship. My king is Christ. Now, I will abide by the laws of my country, et cetera, but I will only answer to Christ on what I do. He is my guide, and I will render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. But this is who rules my life. And in our country, during the American Revolution, that took on a whole different meaning. No king but Christ, meaning no. I'm sorry, King George. We don't answer to you. We answer to the Lord, and the Lord is telling us we need to go this way. I decided to release these because we've been working on hats and T-shirts and jackets, and they're really, really cool. And if I'm wearing one now, if you happen to be watching The Blaze, I'm wearing just the T-shirt, which, can you take the shot from the back? You'll see, overhead. That's the back of it, and it says no king but Christ and has the logo. And I just love this, and I didn't know if anybody else, I was making them for me and my family and everything else, and everybody kept coming up to me going, those are great. What is that? And so they're available now at glennbeck.com. The reason why I'm launching it this week is because while they're doing this movement of no kings, well, you have to have a king. So who is your leader? I agree with the first half. In America, we don't have kings. But then who do you answer to? Their answer is to the elites, the cabal, the Communist Party, USA, whatever it is. Who do you answer to? You cannot just have half the statement, no kings. You have to complete that. No king, but, and in my case, it's Christ. If you want to get one of these T-shirts, or soon the hats and everything else coming out, you can get them at glennbeck.com today. Also, in about 15 minutes, we're posting something I'm going to be talking to you about. An official press release will be going out here in just in a few minutes, right after the monologue at the top of next hour. I invite you to listen to that. We're going into the No Kings thing a little bit tonight, aren't we?
A little bit, yeah.
Jason came up over the weekend because we saw what was happening in Los Angeles, and he's our chief researcher. And so we've been working side by side this week, going in and looking at all of the different groups that are involved, because this is really important. And I'm so glad there are others, really good, credible people. Data Republican is one of them. She's done awesome work in the last few weeks. And she's done awesome work for a very long time. But on this one, she's way ahead of the curve. And she has been showing people exactly what is going on. And I started this hour with that statement from Gavin Newsom. Could we play that one more time? It's so important that you understand what he's saying, how he is distorting and out lying, and then the conclusion he draws at the end. Listen again.
He's declared a war on culture, on history, on science, on knowledge itself. Databases, quite literally, are vanishing. He's delegitimizing news organizations, and he's assaulting the First Amendment. And the threat of defunding them, at threat, he's dictating what universities themselves can teach. He's targeting law firms and the judicial branch that are the foundations of an orderly and civil society. He's calling for a sitting governor to be arrested for no other reason than to, in his own words, for getting elected. And we all know this Saturday. He's ordering our American heroes, the United States military, and forcing them to put on a vulgar display to celebrate his birthday, just as other failed dictators have done in the past. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived.
That is so. You agree with me, Jason?
That's exactly what he's doing.
It's exactly what he's doing. He is declaring the beginning of, their end game. And this is not just going to happen in Los Angeles. This will happen all over the country, and it's not just going to be short-lived. This is going to be the way forward. They are going to try to balkanize us as much as they can. They're going to try to do to the United States what Hezbollah and everybody else has done to Israel. They are going to balkanize us and make the American citizens, the ones who believe in Israel, the ones who believe no king but Christ, the ones that believe in the Constitution, the rule of law, in science, actual science, in actual freedom of speech, not actual hate speech. What they will deem what I'm saying to you on the air hate speech every day. They do it. This isn't hate speech. Hate speech is, river to the sea. Because, as I said, earlier this week, most people don't know the flag of Israel, a blue stripe, white, blue stripe at the bottom and the top. That means the river to the sea, and the Star of David in the middle. That is showing the whole story of Israel. It is from the river to the sea. If you take and say no Jews from the river to the sea, there are no Jews in that area. None. That means the entire state of Israel is gone. But people don't know that. Nobody's being taught. They're being lied to because in school, you're not allowed to speak your mind. Who's telling whom what you can teach and what you can't? What Donald Trump is doing with the universities is saying, I'm pulling your funding if you are teaching hatred. If you are not saying you can't say death to the Jew. I mean, he's not saying you can't say it. He's saying, I'm not going to give you federal funds if you continue to allow that to happen. And there's no right being taken away. You don't have a right to federal funds. That's not a violation of free speech in any way, shape, or form. But they are declaring everything, this is the important part of that, everything we have told you that is coming, they're his words, it's here. Our worst fears are here. He is declaring that it is official. Donald Trump is a dictator. So, everything is about to change, and you just need to be prepared for it. You just need to be cool. You just need to be really well informed, and you need to know what your values are, what your principles are, what's worth fighting for, what's worth living for, what's worth dying for. Somebody says, hey, let's go get him. No. Why? Because my king is Christ, and Christ never said, get him. Ever. I don't remember that. And ye shall all remember, get him. He never said that. Vengeance is his. All right, more in just a second. Stand by. First, let me tell you, you know who loves your house gutters? Who just loves them? Nature. Squirrels. They're like highways for squirrels. The birds treat them like tiny little swimming pools or like places to build their bird's nest. They treat your gutters like a final resting place with the trees. The leaves are there. Retirement community for decaying foliage. And you're the guy who gets to climb up that wobbly ladder in the rain to scoop it all out by hand like some sort of medieval bucket boy. Boy, bring me another bucket. Enough of that. Leaf Filter is a stainless steel micro mesh gutter protection system that keeps everything out. Leaves, needles, shingles, grit, even critters. And unlike their other systems, it's professionally installed by people who actually know what they're doing. Once it's up, you never have to clean your gutters ever again. No more slippery ladders, no more mystery mud, just clean, clear, flowing gutters forever. Listen, You don't owe nature anything, but you do owe it to yourself to work smarter and not harder whenever and wherever you can, and Leaf Filter can make that happen for you. So schedule a free inspection and get up to 30% off your entire purchase at leaffilter.com/glennbeck. That's leaffilter.com/glennbeck. See representative for warranty details.
Beck will be right back.
I don't know about you, but I miss the days of normie capitalism where, I just bought stuff because it was good, right? Like the coffee industry has been big on going the opposite way in recent years. They kind of seem disconnected from traditional American values, especially in 2025. Many coffee brands embrace the sort of corporate ideas that just don't align with what matters to you. And that's why Blackout Coffee exists. This is a family-owned company, takes pride in roasting premium coffee beans right here in America. It blends genuine craftsmanship with principles that matter to you. At Blackout Coffee, quality isn't just a promise, it's a commitment. They've got a bunch of different varieties, dark roasts that offer a bold and satisfying flavor. They've got medium blends with sort of a complex vibe. They've got specialty flavors, right? Like all sorts of specialty flavors that can give you that natural coffee taste rather than, overpowering it. Blackout Coffee also understands your busy schedule. They've got the instant coffee as well, giving you the robust, delicious flavor in just moments. Perfect for those busy mornings. They've got the cold brew cans. You got one right here. For quality and convenience, slogan on the back, be awake, not woke. It's important when you're getting your coffee. Check it out. It is blackoutcoffee.com/Blaze. Use the promo code Blaze. Get 20% off your first order. It's blackoutcoffee.com/Blaze. Start each day with a coffee that stands for something meaningful, something you believe in, and just have some good coffee. It's blackoutcoffee.com/Blaze.
Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. We're glad you're here. Big day to join us. We've got a pretty decent-sized announcement coming up in just a minute. So
is it true you've bought back all your masters, like Taylor Swift, and now you don't have to re-release all of your old shows by re-performing them?
True. It's absolutely true. And I'm setting them to Taylor Swift music.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Well,
I'm happy to say, unlike Taylor, I was smart enough to keep my own masters. So, not that anybody's clamoring for it. You're never going to see like the Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney, and Glenn Beck library just sold.
Oh, I've got tons of left-wing organizations that are dying to get their hands on your masters. Believe me, there is somewhat. So this is going to be fun. Are we going to get any? I mean, is this a tearful? Are we going to get any? You're going to cry, aren't you? You're going to cry.
No. Yes. No, I'm not. It's really sad because I spent some time just working it out in my head and making some notes and stuff. And okay. It feels, I'm turning a page on something, and this is an expansion, not an ending of anything. And I just feel, but it's like a completed part of my life. And so I'm just kind of, I don't want to be emotional about this because it'll send the wrong message. This is not anything other than I just am proud to have completed something with you, with the audience, and to do it with honor. And it doesn't mean I'm not continuing all of that stuff. It just means I've taken this moment to go, okay, done. Now what's next? And so we're gonna talk about that a little bit here, and I would bet against me on the crying thing, Stu.
Yeah.
I say no, but I would bet against me.
No one's ever lost money betting that you are going to cry.
Thank you. I think there's something seriously wrong with me. I mean, I really do. I think there's I don't know. I have an extra girl gene in me, or I don't know what's. But
I mean, if we're being honest, it's not just one thing.
Thank you.
This
all right, thank you,
Glenn Beck.